Hey guys, my name is SunRisen, and with Ash Prime coming out of the vault, I think it'd be a great time to make a video on Ash. In this video, we're going to be covering how to get him, his abilities, tips and tricks, and finally, some builds for early and end game. If you want to see something specific, there will be timestamps in the description. Ash is a stealthy assassin frame that deals true damage. This allows him to bypass shields and armor. This makes him a great frame to deal with tons of damage and to carry into late survival missions or just generally high level Grineer missions. Ash comes from the Grineer medic. They have a 33% chance to drop one of his parts. The best places to get medics to spawn are usually Grineer survival and excavation missions. I personally recommend farming Ash on Saturn as I had the best luck getting him to spawn there. It's important to keep in mind that it has to be specifically this Grineer medic. The Dracar medics and the Manic Bombard do not drop Ash parts. So if we click in here, we can see that he's got the Ash parts right here. This guy. Okay, I haven't finished getting, but he doesn't have it. He doesn't have it, and he doesn't have it, so important to keep in mind, only farm this one. Ash's Prime variant is much easier to obtain, especially now that the Void Relics are now out for him. He comes from the A7, the V7, the V8, and the A4. So he has a rare system, an uncommon blueprint, a common chassis, and an uncommon near optics. So he's not the hardest frame to farm, but it's much easier than his regular version, and honestly, it's a bit better, which we'll get into later. Alright, time for some tips and tricks. Ash Prime will give Ash an extra dash polarity, higher shields, higher armor, and higher sprint speed. Like all primes, if a prime Warframe touches an Orokin Death Orb, he will gain 250 energy. So, to get the most out of Ash, it is recommended to get a couple of augments like Seeking Shuriken and Fatal Teleport. Now what do these augments do? Seeking Shuriken will allow you to expose the weakness on enemies, reducing their armor by 70%. This 70% can actually be increased to over 100%, so we can completely stripping the armor off the target. This is great for taking the endgame, as usually the problem on higher levels is that the Grineer will start getting some really insane armor levels that will reduce your damage. If you take all their armor off, you will be able to do much more damage. So this is almost pretty much a vital mod for Ash. Alright, so Fatal Teleport. This one I find to be more subjective. If you like teleporting, this is definitely for you. I just put it on because sometimes it's a target that I really need to kill, so I'll do that. But getting into it, Fatal Teleport will perform a finisher on a target, dealing 200% extra damage and refunding 50% of the cost if it does kill. When you do a regular teleport, you will have to press the melee button. This will basically just cast it automatically, so you will not have to press that melee button. And of course, dealing extra damage is always great. Again, I don't personally use it that much, but I like to throw it on there just in case. Alright, so for some other tips. When you're doing Bladestorm, you generally want to be invisible, because when you're not invisible, it will cost 12 energy per mark. When you're invisible, it will cost 6 energy per mark, so it's always great to save on that energy. Ash can also, when he joins in on the Bladestorm, he will be invincible and still pick up items. So if you're caught in a tight situation, you can always teleport to one of your Bladestorm targets. And finally, the damage for Bladestorm can actually be increased with the melee combo count. So you generally want to build a high melee combo count before you jump into it. It will start doing much more damage. And there's also a mod for Bladestorm which will make it so when you're in your Bladestorm and you're dealing damage, the marked targets will also increase your melee combo count. So if you want to cast Bladestorm a lot, that's a mod for you. I personally don't cast Bladestorm that much, so I didn't get that mod. So moving on to the builds. Alright, so I have two builds for y'all. I have the early game and I have the end game build. So we're going to start with this early game build. This is a single form of build on the Ash Prime. This will give enough power strength to strip armor completely and make some duration to make his short invisibility just a bit longer. I put Steel Charge for more damage for his Bladestorm and more capacity, Power Drift, and Intensified to reach 145% power strength, which will allow him to completely strip the armor. I put Constitution and Continuity to increase the duration of smokescreen from 8 seconds to 12 seconds. This will give more time for you to mark targets and stay alive. I put Vitality here. You don't really have to put Vitality here. This is more of like an optional choice. If you want to like keep alive longer, you always have the energy for your smoke screen. This is good. So if you find yourself always running out of time, or running out of energy, this will help greatly for survivability. If you don't have that problem, you could easily trade this for Augur Message to increase smoke screen duration. Streamline here to reduce the energy cost, so this means you can spam Shuriken easier and smoke screen. It also works well with Blade Storm since it does reduce the cost. I pair it with Flow to get way more energy, and of course the essential mods, Seeking Shuriken and Fatal Teleport. You don't have to worry about these arcanes here. I just kind of forgot to take them off, but if you have any arcanes, go ahead and throw them on. Arcane Energize is always good. I'm not sure about this other one, as I don't have all the arcanes yet, but maybe I'll do an updated video on arcanes. Alright, moving on to the main build. Not too much different. You can see I replaced Vitality for Glider Finesse. This will drain energy, stop lethal damage from killing me, so in case I do end up in that situation, I won't straight up die. I put Prime Continuity and Prime Flow, just, you know, Prime versions of the mod, so they're generally better. I replaced Vitality with also an Augur Message, so this increases duration. I put Transcend Fortitude because I like building more power strength, and this will reduce my duration just a bit. It won't reduce it too much. It's still at 108%, so it's still good. And as I mentioned earlier, I don't use Fatal Teleport that much, so I have Seeking Shuriken just here rather than also Fatal Teleport. So those are the builds I use, and you're free to customize Ashe to play however you want. Of course, these are just my builds. I hope you liked this video. If you did like this video, feel free to drop a like, you know, put some comments down of anything I missed or anything you want to see, and subscribe if you want. Hit that notification bell. You know how YouTube works. I'm sure you've watched lots of YouTube videos by now. This is SunRisen. I'm signing off, and I hope you all have a wonderful day and or night. See you all next time.